What up, y'all? Said I wasn't going to do any more of these phone videos, but I planned an impromptu trip, so this is what it's going to be for the weekend. But anyway, the Indiana Pacers lost in Game 4 at home to the Oklahoma City Thunder. A chance to go up in the series 3-1 and put a stranglehold on the Thunder, and they were unable to do it as they collapsed in the final minutes of the game after being very loosely in control for the majority of the game through long stretches. And I say loosely because they never got out to a real large lead, but they were able to maintain a steady lead for the most part. You know, a couple possessions in front of Oklahoma City Thunder for long stretches of that game. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sure a lot of Indiana Pacers fans were starting to get real excited when they went up by 8, 9, 10 points, something like that, midway through the fourth, a couple minutes into the fourth, something like that, after OKC had chipped into the lead significantly. And they were like, okay, we got that momentum, we got the lead, we can just keep this for the last few minutes of the game, hold on tight, and we'll get there. That's the problem. Hold on tight, right? I think that's what Indiana was trying to do. I felt like they were trying to hold on instead of take the game in the last couple minutes. And OKC just kept hanging around. And OKC did this game what I thought they would do last game in the final stretches. Funny. I want to come up here and say the Indiana Pacers collapsed in the final minutes of the game. And they did, but you have to give credit to Oklahoma City Thunder's defense. They stepped it up. And SGA took it home on the other end of the floor. He took control in those final minutes of the game. He was making things happen. He was scoring clutch buckets. I got to give the kid credit. I do. I definitely got to give the Thunder credit, like I said, for making it difficult for the Indiana Pacers to score in those final few minutes. But I have to admit as well, the Pacers went away from what got them there. Everything they were doing in the first 3 quarters of the game, 3.5 quarters, if you will. The ball movement, everybody touching the ball, everybody involved, the energy, the synergy. They went away from all of that in the last few minutes of the game. And they went ISO ball. And like I said, you got to give some credit to the Thunder's defense, but I also believe there was a mental collapse and lack of execution, lack of player movement, especially. The offense would stack. The dudes weren't even moving. Dudes weren't even cutting. It just went stagnant. And I don't care how good the Thunder's defense is, they can't stop your players from moving. So that's why I think part of it is an Indiana collapse. They weren't executing sets. They weren't executing plays. They weren't moving. And they went away from everything that got them there. That's why I said they were holding on. They were holding on to that lead instead of trying to take it, trying to take the game. And I think that's where they messed up. They had a golden opportunity here to wrap their hands around their necks and choke them out for that last victory in a couple of days. Possibly. But here we are. Now the series is tied 2-2. Indiana lost home court advantage, and they're going back to OKC. And even in that isolation ball, Haliburton was cooking for a while until he went a bit cold. Like, he was just drive line to the basket, blowing past the defender and throwing up these scoop layups high off the glass. We had 8, 9, 10 points in the fourth quarter, something like that. They could have had more. Like I said, Indiana Pacers were not getting good shots in those final moments. And you know what? I find it so funny when I listen to these broadcasters and commentators. Sometimes the things they say, I'm just like, what game were you watching? One of them goes, man, nothing's going down for Indiana. Not verbatim, but he's like, nothing's going down for Indiana. They're getting some great shots, but none of them are going in. Some great looks. I'm like, no, they haven't. they haven't gotten any great looks. It's been a lot of isolation ball and step back jumpers with hands in your face. Those aren't good looks. What are you talking about? Listen, I don't have the brains to be a coach at the NBA level, but I think I could be a broadcaster. I definitely think I could be a broadcaster after listening to what some of these guys are saying in their commentary. I'm just saying. Wow. No, they got horrible looks. Haliburton, isolation, dribbling a couple feet behind the three-point line, step back, three with Chet reaching out at him, arm stretch. I'm like, that's a horrible shot. Nembhard, horrible shot. And what happened to Pascal Siakam? He was absent in the final moments of that game. Like, I don't even remember him touching the ball much. But like I said, that goes into the lack of execution and lack of ball movement. Everything that got them there, they abandoned it, trying to hold on for dear life. You got to take these games in the playoffs. You can't be holding on because the other team is desperate. They're down because now they are scratching and clawing and trying to get back in the game and take it. You can't be holding on. You got to fight fire with fire. You have to meet force with force. Indiana, they had a great opportunity here. They really did. They could have had OKC's backs against the wall. But here we are. Momentum back in OKC's favor. Going home with a chance to go up 3-2. And if they do, they'll have two chances to close out with Game 7 being on their home floor. Missed opportunities, man. And Mathurin missing 3 critical free throws in the fourth quarter that really changed things on how you manage your last couple of possessions in the final moments of that game. Those missed free throws were huge. That dynamically changed everything as far as how to handle your last few possessions. 3 huge free throws on 2 different possessions. Unbelievable. Also, Indiana Pacers making silly fouls. Silly fouls. The Indiana Pacers had put themselves in prime position to take this game. They were in the penalty halfway through the fourth quarter. Every foul was a trip to the free throw line. That means get more aggressive. Because anything foul, off ball, on ball, whatever, you're going to the free throw line for half the quarter. And they did not take advantage of that. They did not. They were in prime position to take the game with the free throws in their favor, the fouls in their favor. And they didn't do it. So yeah, credit to OKC, but I definitely think there was an Indiana collapse here, considering their position and how they played towards the end of that game. Listen, the Haliburton clutch narrative is cool and all, but he's not going to hit every single shot every single time, so you don't want to put your guy in position to do that every single game. What are we doing? I know everybody wanted magic with that step back Haliburton 3 over Chet. It wasn't happening. I knew it wasn't going in. I was like, well, eventually he's going to start missing these bombs like this. So, probability tells me this one's probably not going in because so many other ones have went down. And listen, if the Thunder would have lost this, boy, SGA would have been under hot fire. SGA would have been in trouble, boy. Oh, all those SGA narratives and comparisons and everything and all the numbers games. and all the analytics swaying in OKC's favor on so many, all that would have been under fire. But like I said, I picked OKC to win this series. I hope they don't. I want the Pacers to win, but we'll see. Anyway, I think I missed my turn yapping too much. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, stay notified. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. We out, baby.